Hi Flosstube, it's Karen, recovering monogamous stitcher. Today is Friday, October 24, 2025. Happy birthday to my daughter-in-law. I am here today to record Flosstube number 82. Welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, I'm so happy to have you come back. I really appreciate the support and the wonderful comments, and as always, I welcome new subscribers. I do continue to get new subscribers. So I try to remember to, be a little more explanatory than just assuming that everyone knows what I'm talking about. So welcome to my channel. Welcome to my sewing room. I'm so happy to have you here. And we're going to talk about cross stitch, and I will talk about the quilt behind me just a little bit at the end. I do have some haul, and let's see. Okay, first I'm going to talk about the comments on the last video, which I did last week. It was different for me. I did an in-between video it was a finishes parade of Halloween and fall. I had such wonderful comments on that. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And yes, I will consider doing that in the future. And I do like separating it from my regular floss tubes. For one thing, it's just so much easier to prepare for. Anyway, so there'll be more of those in the future. Thank you for letting me know that you liked that format. And the comments, someone asked me if I would show my finished pieces in place, how they're displayed. Well, I don't really have a wonderful display. I have like a table that's meant to be behind a couch, but it's against a wall, and it has, a top level, and there's a lower shelf, and they're just all lined up on there. I don't have, beautiful furniture with lots of shelves where I can put things. So I'll just show you the finishes. But if you want to see wonderful fall displays and Halloween displays, the first I would suggest to you is go see Sully Stitches. That's Tara Sullivan at Sully Stitches. She's on Flosstube. She did a parade of her house. Every room was beautifully decorated with cross stitch and other Halloween and fall themed items. It was wonderful. It was very inspiring. I suggest you go there. And another that I just caught this morning was Loose Thread Stitchers, Leanne and Jeannie, and they, at the beginning of their floss tube, they showed a montage, well, it was a little video of their fall displays, various places around their homes. It was wonderful. So if you want inspiration, I need to direct you elsewhere because I don't have gorgeous displays. So that's enough of that. We'll take a look at my book of days. I have the book of days, and my October, I've stitched every day. And in this column, I always put my goals for the month, and there are only 2 remaining unchecked. So I did stitch on my focus piece 7 days. I stitched 3 days on my red sampler. I always have a red sampler going. I stitched on the Stars and Stripes Sal. I had a new start, Elizabeth Stephenson, Queen of the May. I had another new start, the Bristol Sampler from Antique Needleworks. Needleworks, Antique Samplers. Anyway, I'll get it right. And the 2 that are remaining is another new start I want to do. I really have new Start-itis, I guess. Rebecca Worrell from the Wishing Thorn, and I want to get out my BAP, Susanna Lawton, and work on her some more. So those are the 2 remaining goals for the month. And as I say, I stitched every day. It was great. I had several Zooms. They all just kind of came together, so many of them. Central Kentucky Stitchers. I stitched online on Zoom with Queen City Sampler Guild. I stitched online with my StitchCon friends. And I was lucky to be selected to it was random selection, but I was lucky to get selected to stitch with Sarah's Stitchy Spot, her Sunday group that she gets once a month. She does a Sunday group of 10, I think. It was wonderful. I met such wonderful people. Their stitching was so much fun to see. 3 of the people were new to me Flosstubers, and I have subscribed, and I highly recommend them to you also. The first one was Stitching NT with B. That's Barbara. I learned more about tea than I think I've ever known in my life, about how to correctly store it and things to think about and how to do it. Oh, she's wonderful. Also, Eli, thick thread. I have these in the notes below, so you can find them. He's a delight to get to know. And then a Mary Stitcher, a Mary Peterson or Patterson. I'm sorry, Mary. But anyway, so 3 new Flosstubers I've subscribed to. I'm so happy to have met them, and it was a wonderful time. Thank you, Sarah, for including me in this Zoom. It was great fun. Okay, on to my cross stitch. I have a finish. You might have guessed this, but Gott was my focus piece. And if you're new here, let me explain that I always have a focus piece, which is my oldest whip. And I stitch on that piece 7 days in a month, whether it's 7 days in a row or skip around, but I require myself to put 7 days a month on it, and it remains my focus piece until it's done. And that system has really worked well for me. So Gott is finished, and I press, when I'm finished with my pieces, I press them, put them in a project roll so they are ready to go to the framer, and then they don't get ironed again, because I don't want to flatten down my stitches. I like seeing the texture. So let me unroll this. There's Gott. Oh, she's pretty. And this is an adaptation because I did make some changes. I changed, I put that little verse at the top, and that was included as an option. It was included in the pattern. I didn't have to make that up and chart it myself. And that the last thing I did was that rose and leaves, that huge section there above the house, all that grass. And then I did changes at the bottom too, so I got my initials and the year I stitched it, along with Gott's name and her date. So there's Gott, all done, ready to go to the framer. Yay me. Put her aside here. Okay, so that was the focus piece. I don't have any other finishes, but I got a lot done. The whips I worked on were Stars and Stripes Stitch Along. This particular one is Stars from Plum Street Samplers, Paulette Stewart, and Janet, my mother's daughter, KY, another Flosstuber, and I are hosting a SAL, a stitch along or start along, however you want to look at it. And we have a plan to get these done by Memorial Day 2026. So they're available to be on display the entire summer when we are celebrating our semi-quincentennial next year. So, and you will notice I've gotten a lot done since the last time I showed you, and I had thought, well, okay, I'm at least halfway through, so I'm on target. I don't need to do this anymore. But I had outlining done, so every zoom stitch that I did, I picked this up and I did fill in, fill in, fill in. It's almost done. I just have some doodads over here. Oh, I have to finish the cupola, whatever that point is. I had to take it out because I miscounted, doy. And then just a few little things here, and then this one is done. That puts me ahead of schedule, yay me. So this is Stars, and I have the details on the stitch along in the notes below. We have a Facebook page. We have over 400 people who are on our Facebook page. So we think we've been quite successful in getting a lot of people interested in working on these pieces. They are very doable. I have some wonderful patriotic pieces I would like to do, but they're so big, I don't know that I could get them done, but I know I can get these done, and it'll feel good to have something new, patriotic to celebrate next year. So that's that one. And I had a new start. Elizabeth Stephenson, she's the Queen of the May for 2025. This is from Hands Across the Sea. She's beautiful. And I have the bones of the border done. And I've just started the flowers at the top. Now I'd like to tell you that the border met up the first time. I would like to tell you that, but that would be a lie, so I can't tell you that. I don't know what happened. Oh, and when I discovered, oh, I'm coming around this way, and I'm going, oh, is that going to meet up? Is that gonna, so I kept stitching. Is that going to meet up? Well, no, it definitely wasn't going to meet up. I should have stopped way down here when I suspected, but I didn't. Did I run a basting stitch to check? No, I didn't. So, okay, count. And I was really paying attention at the corners, because the corners are not symmetrical, whereas these are, you know, the count is the same on all of those. So I thought, well, boy, I must have messed up at a corner, and I would count and count and count. And I finally found down here, there was one of these where instead of 13 stitches, I had 10. I don't know if I started and stopped, got interrupted, or who knows? Can't count to 13, I guess. So anyway, got that fixed, frogged out, re-stitched. So it's done, ready to move on. And those pretty colors, the red and the pink, those flowers go all the way around, alternating red and pink. They're beautiful. Elizabeth Stephenson, my new start. Then I had another new start. I told you that when we went to Hobby House, we got 3 Bristol sampler patterns from Nicola Parkman, Hands Across the Sea, Ray Niles from Red Barn Quilts, and Kathleen Littleton from Cross Stitch Antiques. And I chose this one to do my first Bristol because I like the cow at the bottom. I don't know, you know, how do you choose? They're also similar, tons of alphabets and fun motifs. So anyway, this is the one I chose to start. And here it is. I decided to go down, this is still page 1, go down, get these lines established, then I can pick it up and continue rows across. Now this fabric is really interesting. The fabric is Ashley Down from Tabby Cat Linens, and Mary or maybe it was, anyway, at the Attic recommended it because they didn't have the, whatever the model was stitched on. And she thought it would look really nice with red thread, and I agree. I like that modeling, that kind of reddish modeling. I think that'll look cool when I get it all stitched. So I'm happy with that. And this is 46 count Ashley Down, and that way it'll fit on a stitcher's quarter. 40, I think, it would have required me to get a half, so that's how I did that. And this is stitched with Soie d'Alger 100.3. It's number 664. It's a bright red. Very pretty. Okay. That's my stitching. So I'm going to pause and I'll be back with my haul. Okay, the first thing I want to show you is perforated paper. And this is 12 inch by 18 inches. I needed this size because it is called for in Mrs. Julia D. Brown's portfolio. Isn't that beautiful? Look at the way it was framed. This was the original, and someone in her family had the good sense to frame those pieces so they didn't get destroyed. My friend and I are going to do this, and we ordered this with another friend who was ordering so we could divide the shipping cost because these big sheets, you know, don't just fit in a little envelope. So I got that, and that's not an imminent start, but I have what I need for that. And then I'll be dyeing the paper, staining the paper, and then start my stitching on that. And I put it in my tallest project bag here, but it's still, hello, go in there. Oops, so it's still gonna stick up. I just won't close it, but it can hold in there. So that was the first. And then I just told you last time on my red sampler, I was very nearly out of 523, so I ordered one spool of 523. Well, you can't just do that. So I'm gonna show you in a minute what else I ordered to go with that. I had an order at Fat Quarter Shop. Well, this is my monthly Thread Club, Classic Colorworks, and before I hang them in my system, I will punch an extra hole in those cards so that I can put my leftover threads on the extra hole. So there's that. But they have this jelly roll braid. I've shown that before. It came in the stitch box, the Quilty stitch box. And this is a very inexpensive PDF from Fat Quarter Shop. And I plan to make this, but I'm going to make it into project bag. Plural, perhaps. I'll see how many I can do. And I also got the strapping to go in handles. I may or may not use it for this project, but I've wanted this before and not had it, so I have this. And then I also got some Lori Holt needles, size 28. These Lori Holt needles are good. They're very good. So, I mean, there are all kinds of them that I like, but I particularly like these. Somebody gifted me a pack of these, and I thought, ooh, I like that. And I wanted to fill up my order, so that's what I did. So now this is a roundabout way to get to this other story, which is involved with Jingle Ball. I talked about Jingle Ball last time, and last Friday, a week ago today, the ticket sales opened, and I was right there, Johnny on the spot, because I had decided on one project I would do, and I wanted to get the kit. And, you know, you can add a PDF ticket to a class and do your own kitting. So that was the one I was really hot to get. And I got the animal cracker from Stacy Nash, Ginger, the little mouse. So let me show you. It just came yesterday, and I'm so excited about it. So look at this cute, came in this. It says Stacy Nash, her design. I'm going to open it now to show you. My friend sent me a picture of hers. She got hers the day before I did, so I know how it was packaged, but I wanted to show you because it's so cute. The presentation is just so cute. Here it is. Yeah, cute. So I'm going to try to carefully open that. Maybe I can slide this off and not untie it. Yeah, success. Okay. That. And here it is. Ginger, little mouse, the new animal cracker. And this started me down the rabbit hole of animal crackers. I've loved them. I've just never gotten them. I always feel like, oh, I have so many things going and I don't need to start another thing. But this one was just so cute. I couldn't resist. So I ordered this, and before I even got the kit, went to a meeting with Central Kentucky Stitchers, and my friend Julia, who had been at a retreat, I think it's near Ashland, Kentucky. Anyway, on the freebie table, she picked up an animal cracker. Said, does anyone want this? Yes, I want this. So here's animal cracker number 2. It's so cute. It's a little bunny, and she has a mask and a little, I don't know if that's a needle book or what. It's supposed to be her Halloween candy bag. So, and I thought it was Nettie, but it's Nettle, little bunny. So there's animal cracker number 2. And when I was ordering from 123 Stitch, I wasn't just going to order one spool of thread without something off my wish list. Hello, here's Lily. I have patterns for 3 animal crackers now, and I have to get going on them. So the other thing, 123 Stitch, before I knew if I would be able to get the kit, you were able to see what the requirements were for kitting up your own things, and it called for a 36 count fabric. So I got a little 36 count fabric for just in case I didn't get the kit. Well, I got the kit, so now I have a fabric for one of the others. And my plan for Lily, I'm going to do her small. Whether I'll do it on 46 count or 40, I don't know. I'll figure out how big it will be. But, you know, I stitch a lot on those sizes. I have lots of smaller pieces that would be perfect for this. So that's my plan for Lily. Maybe I should do them all small. No, I won't do them all. But Lily, I want to be small. So back to the kit. Let's see what's in. The thing I thought I would not be able to get, and I was right because I did the research online. Can I get this fabric? Can I get this fabric? No, I couldn't. I think it's called Blackberry something or another. old red. The dyer is blackberry something. Anyway, we have the threads and the fabric and the pattern, and life is good. Okay. So that's my haul. I don't normally have much haul, but that was just a little extra. Okay, now I'm going to talk about my plans. I don't think I need to clear this stuff away. I can just talk. Okay, so for the remainder of October, there are 8 days, including today, there are 8 days left. And I have 2 things on my goals for the month that I haven't done yet. So I will do the new start of Rebecca Worrell, and I will stitch on my BAP, Susanna Lawton. Then, before I'm back with you again, the new month will start. So at the new start, then I have a focus piece I owe 7 days. I have a red sampler that I owe 3 days. I have the Stars and Stripes Sal I'm going to stitch on. And then anything else I decide I'm going to do. I haven't decided which of my samplers I will work into my schedule, but those things are locked in. I'm going to do those things. So I will be working on that, and my next floss tube will be November 7. So I'm going to do a short little walk around the quilt on the wall because there's not a lot of change, but I will show you some of the process about the raw edge applique and how I back it so that the thread doesn't come up from the bottom. So I'll pause here and I'll be back in a minute and take you over to my ironing surface and show you. Okay, first I'm going to show you this lightweight, I don't know if it's interfacing or stabilizer, but I went back to the first quilt I did with raw edge applique and to remind myself what was this stuff called, and the designer called for lightweight stabilizer or Pellon Easy Pattern, Pellon Easy Pattern. And I'm sure this is not the Easy Pattern because I think Easy Pattern has a grid to it. So this, I went to Joann's, just looked at the stabilizers, and this had some substance to it, but it wasn't too thick or heavy. It's still pliable. So this is what I bought. I'm sorry I can't tell you an exact number or what it actually is called, but I just chose a relatively lightweight stabilizer. Okay, so this is the 4th corner. This is the last one I have to applique down, so I decided to show you the start of what I did. So on the back, you can see my bobbin thread. I've partially outlined a couple of the flowers. And the reason I didn't do the full flower is because I'm going to change to the darker thread because the leaves on this side of these are darker fabric. So I'm using the clear thread for anything that has like a substantial yellow or light color like this leaf. That's very light. I'm going to do the light color. And then when I'm done with all the light color, I'll switch out my thread to the smoky, or I think they call it smoky, and then do the darks. So this is what it looks like as I'm doing it. And now I'll show you what it looks like, when I've trimmed it. Okay, so I've already trimmed this one, but I can show you what I do. So I have this piece of stabilizer here, and I take a seam ripper. Now I have my left hand. I'm going to switch the camera so I can do it with my right hand. Hang on, I'll try not to cancel it here. Wait, I'm going to pause you and come back. Okay, now I have my right hand. Okay, so what I do, let's say I'm going in one of these shapes. I just do a little start with the point, making sure I'm not going through the fabric under it, but just the stabilizer. And then I stick the red ball under and run that along the stitching. That keeps the sharp blade away from the stitching, but I get a nice close trim. And then trim that way, and then I just pull that out. So I do that all the way. I go around all the pieces. Now, the part that's hardest is the stem because it's not very wide. I can run this along one side, but when I try to do the other side, it doesn't grab because there's not much. So I take my little scissors and just trim. And it might not be necessary. Like I can see a spot where I didn't finish trimming that piece. I may go back and just take that out. It may not make any difference at all, but I don't want it to be stiff on the front of the quilt. So So that's my process. That's what I do with the raw edge applique. And like I say, I'm on my fourth corner now, so that part will be done, and then the next thing I can start on is the sashing and cornerstones, and that's gonna, then I'll start to see some real difference on my quilt. I put in the notes below, well, it's not really the name of the stabilizer, but what I looked for, lightweight stabilizer, or Pellon Easy Pattern is what it was called. So, okay, well, that's it for this time, and I will be back on November 7th. In the meantime, have happy stitching. Bye-bye.